grab yourself 2 chairs, maybe pause the video now so you can set it up. And we're going to transition our weight onto one foot. Now we want to focus on these 3 points, the base of the big toe, the base of the baby toe, and the heel. This is known as a tripod stance, these 3 fingers. So you want to make sure when you're balancing, you are trying to distribute your weight into these 3 feet. So now try to lift your hand off the chair. Do your best to balance. Try to keep your core nice and tight. Make sure your hip isn't dropping. And also don't overlift your hip. You want it nice and straight across. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Do your best to stay upright and remember that tripod stance. These are the things you want to keep repeating in your head. Tight core. Lift your hand up again if you can. And if this entire time you're able to balance without using the chair, try and do that. Awesome. And now transition your weight over to the other side. Remember that tripod stance. Keep those hips nice and level. Don't drop the hip. Don't overlift it. Remember to keep upright. Also, I want you to avoid leaning. So I don't want you to lean too far off to the right. I don't want you to lean too far off to the left. Keep upright as best as possible. Again, lift the hand as best you can. The entire time would be ideal. Otherwise, you can maybe just leave one finger to help you balance the whole time. And if you feel you have to put your foot down because this is too long of a single leg stance for you, then just work up to it. You will get stronger the more and more you do this video. And by the way, if you haven't checked out the beginner level squat level 1 video, I recommend that you do that before doing this just to give you a general idea. If you have an elastic band like this, I want you to go grab it now, and you're going to tie it to your knees like this to create a circular band of tension. This is going to help to activate even more musculature around the hips to really get those glutes firing. So don't let those knees come in. Try to keep those knees right over your ankles. And now you're going to squeeze your glutes and try to pull those knees outward. So I did bring my heels close together, and I'm sitting upright as best as I can and squeezing my glutes and pulling my knees apart. So follow my pace as best as you can, and if you're slipping on your chair, just keep readjusting yourself as needed. You'll see here a couple times I will be doing that, and again, I'm just signaling squeeze those glutes every single time. So don't cheat and just bring your knees out. You want to make sure when you're doing this movement, you're really feeling those glutes bringing your knees out to the side as best as possible. That's the whole idea of this, is getting those glutes firing and getting those leg muscles that maybe have shut off because you haven't used them in a really long time, potentially even years for some people, that we're, waking them up a little bit. So doing these types of resistant exercises is great for actually increasing bone health as well. So a little side tip there. So now if you can, you're going to slide your feet out. Again, keep your core nice and tight, sit nice and straight, and slide your feet outwards. Again, you are resisting from the band pulling your knees inwards. You want to keep your knees and ankles in alignment. So this is almost for those who go to the gym. This is like the abductor machine at the gym. Except, gyms are closed right now. I made this video during COVID times, and this is a really neat home workout style that you can do to replace that exercise. Remember to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. And if I'm ever going at a pace that's too fast for you, just slow it down as needed and shake things out. Now get ready to do a squat or recover from a squat. So lean forward and press your feet down into the floor. Remember that tripod stance that we practiced at the beginning, and stand up. So now the key is shift your hips back first. You want to load the hips, protect your knees, and then lower towards the seat behind you. And adjust as needed if things are slipping. And again, lean forward, press those feet into that tripod stance. And I'm showing you don't extend your neck back, don't extend your neck forward. You want to make sure things are staying in best alignment as possible and your head is in line with the rest of your spine. And now lean back. So this is just kind of a tip here of adjustment. So if you are nervous to do this, what you can do is back your legs up so you can feel the edge of the chair already before you are to squat. Again, lean forward, squeeze, press right down into the floor. And now add in rising up onto the balls of your feet. Hips back, hips back, hips back. Good, and squeeze everything up. So see, that was a little bit faster this time. And again, if this is too challenging for you, I encourage you to go into the beginner squat level 1. I will leave that in the description box below. And rise up to the balls of your feet. Shift those hips back. Sit down in the seat, squeeze the glutes, press that tripod stance right into the floor. And up into the balls of your feet. So this is a really good exercise to work what's known as a posterior chain of the legs. So as we walk, we need triple extension, right? We need the glutes to fire, the hamstrings, as well as the feet. Now balance onto that one leg, hold your foot out to the side. Keep upright, nice and tall, squeeze that core. Good, and switch sides. So stand onto the other leg, extend that leg out to the side. And now, again, my range of motion may be a little bit more than you. So if you can only lift it a couple inches off the floor, but you feel that glute in the side firing, I'm happy with that. And now turn sideways so you can move the foot backwards. So squeeze that glute before you do anything. So if you didn't squeeze the glute, reset. Squeeze your glute before you lift your leg. And now I want you to show you, I don't want you to arch. I want you to stay upright, keep that core really tight, and squeeze that heel back, squeezing that glute. And now switch sides. Squeeze the glute first and then lift, making sure your back is nice and straight, your core is tight, you're not excessively arching. And just do your best. And reset. Get your balance. Sit back into the chair and work on adjusting things and move those knees out to the side again. So we're taking a little bit of a break and we're trying to get those gluteus medius muscles working. If this is too difficult for you, you can just keep your heels together and just move your knees as opposed to moving your whole leg. So do whatever is best for you at this point. Remember, you should not just be using your legs. You have to squeeze those glutes to move. Now lean forward, press those tripod stance right into the floor, squeezing the glutes. And now step 2 times out to the side and 2 times the other way. These are known as monster walks. So back up, touch the backs of your legs to the chair so you know where you are. Lean forward, get those hips back. It's the most important part. Again, keep those knees in line with those toes. Squeeze the glutes, press up. And walk out to the side. So see how my knees are staying out. They're not being pulled in by the band. That's what you want. Keep those toes facing forward. Have a seat on the chair. Get back up. Step out to the side. Making sure you're really putting tension on that band. Back up to the chair. Push those hips back, lean forward, keep that tripod stance, core nice and tight. Remember, knees right over the toes, squeezing glutes, press yourself back up, and let's step out again. 2 to your left, 2 to your right, or whatever way you are going. Just make sure you're evening things out. Again, backing up to the chair, feel the back of the chair with your calves, push those hips back, protect those knees. core nice and tight. Squeeze those glutes, press equally down to the floor, tripod stance, squeeze those glutes. Step out to the side and back in. Remember, keep those knees pushing out. Lean back with those hips. Touch the seat. Squeeze the glutes, press the feet equally into the floor. Again, pull those knees out. Do not let those knees being pulled in by the resistance of the band. Step out. Keep those knees out. Keep those feet forward. Back up to the chair so you know where you are. Lean back with the hips, core tight, core tight, core tight. Maintain that 3-point stance. Press into the toes. Keep those knees out. Fight for it. Squeeze, 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 squeeze those glutes, squeeze those glutes. And step out again. We're almost done. If you need a break at any point, pause the video, get some water, take a breather, do what you got to do. You will get stronger the more you do this. Lean forward, get those hips back. Hips back. Do not bend the knees first. You have to hinge at your hips first. Lean forward, squeeze, press down to the floor, squeeze those glutes. It's the glutes squeezing you that pushes you forward. And yes, do not lean back like I just showed you there. Just come up to that neutral position and step the other way. Let's try to do without the hands. So you're going to squat back, hands on the hips. Good. Take a moment to breathe, lean forward, press those feet right down into the floor. Squeeze everything up. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Let's do it again. Hips back, hips back, hips back. Bend the knees, tripod stance in the feet. And rest slightly. Lean forward again, squeeze the glutes, press equally down to the floor, keep those knees out, tight core, squeeze the glutes, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Awesome. Hips back, hips back, hips back, bend those knees, tripod stance, tight core. Give yourself a little bit of a rest. Lean forward, knees out, squeezing those glutes. Press tripod stance right into the floor. So a good cue for this is try to drive the base of that big toe right into the floor as you are doing this movement. And if at any point you do need to balance, don't be afraid to put your arms on the chair. This is just to test to see where we are at with this exercise, because we're getting to the point where we should start to be graduating onto doing this without using a chair in front of us. Shake things out, shake things out. You did a good job. And let's finish off with a little bit of more glute work. So this is getting that balance even more. Hold that leg right out to the side. Squeeze that glute on the side. You may feel a little bit of burning. If you are, just maybe reset, pause the video, give yourself a little bit of a break. And then continue when you're ready and hold out to the other side. Hold tight core, tight core, tight core. Again, we're going to go back, squeeze that glute before you lift. So if you didn't reset, squeeze that glute, then lift it. Keep your core nice and tight. Keep your spine nice and straight. A rope attached to your head is pulling you to the ceiling. Squeeze the glute, heel back, tight core, pull up to the ceiling. And if you don't need to, take your hand off and balance. And now we're going to go forward even this time. So this will really work our core in the front. So really hold upright. Keep those hips nice and straight. Rope pulling you to the ceiling. And switch sides. Remember, tripod stance. Don't drop the hip. Keeps the hips nice and straight. Pushing the leg forward. Tight core. Rope pulling you up to the ceiling. Right, and that's the end of the video. So I want to congratulate you on completing this. I'd recommend doing this video every second day or every third day if you're just starting out. And as you get better and better and better at this video, you can start to add your own little bit of a twist. So if you see me using the chair to balance, as you get stronger, you can start to do this without the chair in front of you. Obviously, there's going to be certain exercises like the abductor ones that you'll need the chair just so that it keeps you from sliding forward. But if you can get away with doing it without, that'd be even better, because then you're working on the balance and your musculature even more. But to start, try to follow exactly what I'm doing at the beginning so you can make the necessary decision for what's best for you after. As always, please subscribe to my channel so that you'll be notified of any new videos that I release in the future. If you have any questions for me or suggestions of videos you want to see me release in the future, leave that in the comments section below. Thank you very much. Hope you guys have a great day.